right. Welcome, everyone. I'm Brent Hoskins. I serve as Executive Director of BTA and been here a lot of years, but I'm not alone. We've got five members of the staff, and some of them are on the call here. I think I saw Valerie a minute ago, and Elizabeth, and Brooke, and Brian, and myself. So there's five of us. It's a small staff, but collectively, we've got what is it, like 90 years of experience, something like that. I've got it written down somewhere here, but I've been here a lot of time, long time. And I kind of say that to say that just from virtue of being here a long time, we know a lot of people. And we are always available to help connect people or respond to questions or help, find information on something that somebody's looking for. And, Brian is probably the person that you know the best because he is the membership salesperson for BTA, and he not only is talking to prospective members, but the current members on a regular basis, and just seeing how things are going and checking in with you and talking about any events that are coming up, etc. Elizabeth, you can see on the screen there's associate editor. That's her title, but she does a lot of things, pretty much everything to do with our website, and she lays out the magazine and writes some of the magazine, proofread it along with myself, and Hotline Ease newsletter that goes out, and our event promotional stuff, and on and on. Valerie is the director of marketing, and she's been here many years. She is the person when it comes to our event, as far as the planning and making sure it all goes off without a hitch, and working with the hotel and the vendors and everybody else. She's also the main person in terms of contact for our vendor members. We've got a fair number of vendor members who are part of the association. I like to say from brother to Xerox. They're members of the association. And so she works with them and supports them in any way that she can. Our core member is the dealer, though. It's been that way since 1926, and yeah, we're coming up on 100 years in a couple of years. We can't believe it. When I started, we were in our 60th year, so now we're almost at 100. And but the association, the industry's changed, the world's changed, but the core way we operate has not changed, and that is we are governed by independent dealers. We have about 23 elected volunteers who are on the district and national level. My boss is the current president of BTA, so I have a new boss every year, and they own or senior management of dealerships, and so we lean on them heavily. So I'm going to turn it over to Brian, and he's going to kind of walk us through the website and kind of give you a better sense of the association. I kind of said when we were prepping to kind of go start the call here that we started doing these a couple of years ago because we found that a lot of members either didn't know about all the benefits that we have. And I've talked to dealers who are very familiar with BTA, been around for many years, and then we mentioned something, they go, "Oh, I didn't know BTA did that." And so we just kind of came to realize that there's a lot of things that we do that people don't necessarily know about, that they focus on the events or the webinars or legal services or whatever, the education that we offer, classroom training that we'll hear about here in a little bit. But it's kind of their focus of the when taking advantage of membership, but there's a lot more to offer. And so that's the purpose of this, to talk through that. And Brian, I'll be quiet and let you take it from here.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Brent. And thank you all for joining us this afternoon. I'll try to give you the Cliff Notes version of the BTA website so I don't keep you too long. First, you go to the bta.org page. So this is the BTA homepage. And what we like to get people to do is to go ahead and create a login or create an account. And you do that right up here at the top. You just click login. That opens up to this window here. And this red arrow, if you don't have one, you go create one. This one kind of populated me, but if you just hit create again, it'll open up this page here. You put your name, your first and last name and email, hit submit. Then the system will send back an email for you to complete the registration process. And you'll know that you're on or logged in proper when you do log in. And currently I'm logged in under Adam Gregory right here, and he is the BTA president. So when you log in, it automatically takes you to what we call the info hub. And so this is kind of the back end of the BTA. And you go here, once you're logged in, you just go to my info over here on the left, and your contact information will be the first thing that shows up. So you go ahead and just make sure your contact information is up to date. You can add related contacts. These are the people that are in this company. These are what we would consider sub accounts. So you can add people or detract or delete people as well in that section. And then the other current, or what I like to think, is the member directory. So once you log in, you have to log in to see this member directory here. And so what it can do is scour the BTA membership group. So you come up here and you let's just pick a copier and see. We'll go with Kyocera, hit done, and it will pop up all the BTA members that carry Kyocera. So it kind of gives you an idea of who's out there and where they're at. So you can just click in any query there and get the information that you're looking for. So if there's, a different brand that you'd rather see, then, or, how about a city? Let's just go, I don't know, Dallas. I don't know. Sometimes the city doesn't work because they're not in the heart of Dallas. They're in the outskirts of Dallas. But that kind of gives you an idea that there's some people down in Dallas alone that are BTA members. So it's a good function to know about the BTA member directory, the My Info, the directory, and then when you want to get back to the BTA homepage, just go down here to the BTA homepage and it automatically takes you out to the BTA homepage. And there's the login button right there. I'd like to kind of start with the About Us tab here. Everything is a drop-down menu, so you go to the About Us, and doesn't seem to want to work for me. Here we go. And it kind of gives you an idea of the information about BTA. Here's our bylaws, and we started back in June of 2016, or I guess the bylaws were updated for the BTA back in 2016. But you can get history, you can get member testimonials, photo archives. They date back to 1928 is the latest one. And then we've got to the 90th celebration that we had here in Kansas City in 2016. So then you got video archives. So you can come in here and find out information about some of the classes that we take and that type of thing. So there's some good information there. You also have the board of directors. Brent mentioned it earlier that his boss is Adam Gregory. This is the BTA national president. So he's got his contact information, and I'm going to show you these individuals because it'll be a good resource for you if you've got a question about BTA or something about your business. That I'm not a dealer. These folks are dealers, and you could call them and say, hey, I've got a question, Mike, can you help me out? And all of these individuals are super nice and helpful, and just wear them out if you need to. So give them a call. So that's the national board. And then we have district offices as well. So we've got the West, the Mid-America, the Southeast, and the Northeast. And if you just, I know Richard is down there in the Southeast. If you click on the Southeast officers, there again, you've got some people there with their contact information, and you can get a hold of them for that. So they're great resources. So go ahead and make sure you use them. And then the BTA headquarters staff, there's Brent, Valerie, Elizabeth, me, and Brooke. Brooke is works remote in Hawaii. So Brooke has joined BTA recently as our admin person, and so she's out there in Hawaii. So we love Brooke being on board. So there you got the About Us. Then you've got the membership tab, and like I say, all these have drop-down menus to them. All of this information is pretty much under the benefits tab. So if you've just clicked on the benefit, it opens up all the BTA resources. Okay. And so all of them are there, and you can just, they're links. So you can cut and paste or just click on one, and it takes you to that information. So that's the easiest way to access all the BTA benefits. And then you can kind of go through some of the other ones that we've got here. So if you're looking to do the legal services, you just click on legal services, takes you to Greg Goldberg. that is, some of you may be familiar with Bob Goldberg, the BTA legal counsel for 40 plus years. He is retired this year, and his son Greg has taken over. So you can contact Greg for all things with your business. The way the line works as far as how much information or help Greg will give you is if your issue affects the industry as a whole, let's say like a manufacturer's agreement that you and a host of other Kyocera people, they've probably, or BTA has a membership, a manufacturer dealer agreement already set up that it's dotted I's, crossed T's. So you can call up Greg Goldberg and whatever your manufacturer is, say, hey, Greg, do you have a BTA approved manufacturer dealer contract? And so Greg will either have one or, he'll help you get one done. But that affects more than just you. But if you were looking at getting him to look at your landlord agreement where your building or your dealership is located, that affects you alone. So that's kind of the caught up. You can't really send your landlord agreement to Greg and say, hey, is this any good? You could do it. He'd probably charge you extra, but in the short run, if 600 plus dealers send in landlord agreements, Greg would never be able to help anybody else. He'd just be spending all of his time doing landlord agreements. And so you got the legal documents. This is probably one of the most used. This is kind of a table of contents, shows you some of the sample documents that we've got. You need to log in, so that's why you need to create an account. So after you log in, you just click on view and download the legal documents, and here they are. So you can just come in here and like equipment leasing. So you can just open those up. They're Word documents. You can cut and paste them and customize them for your dealership and use them that way. Or if you're, open one up and you say, hey, I don't know if this one has everything, you can call up Greg and say, hey, Greg, some of this information in here, can I change this to that? And Greg will be able to give you some advice and consultation on that. All phone conversations with the legal services is free of charge with you guys. So wear Greg out if you need to. So there's just a bunch of sample documents that are in here. So go ahead and just peruse it and look at it. And there's a host of information there as well. Let's see, go back to legal. So that's pretty much on the legal side of it. There's some other information here. Fraudulent telemarketing and BTA. There's the BTA approved contract. I'll have to get with Elizabeth because this email here is wrong. We'll have to change that out to Greg's email, which is up here, Greg Goldberg, ggoldberg@bartagoldberg.com. So that would be the email. I think the phone number is correct. It just needs to change that email. So we're good on that. And then we've got I'll start with the BTA scholarship program since we're just kind of going down the line here. BTA gives away money every year on May 1st, 2025. The applications must be submitted to BTA, and it is available to all member dealers that have students or people that are going to school. So it's a free benefit to you to pass out or to tell your people that there's a BTA scholarship that's available for you. You just need to request an application, get it filled out. You have the grades sent to BTA to be evaluated, and this is a poster that you can download and hang up in your break room that tells everybody about the BTA scholarship program. So that's pretty good. Go ahead and download that thing right here. I'll let Brent talk a little bit about this. I know that he enjoys writing checks for all these people, but
Right.
or at least signing the check.
Yeah.
And,
So I know Brian covered it pretty thoroughly there, but we've been this scholarship foundation goes back to the 1960s. Now our records only go back to the 1980s because we moved to Kansas City in the mid 80s, and we don't know where the records are from before that. But from the 84-85 school year, we've given away well more than $1 million in scholarships. Just this year, we gave away maybe it was like 33,000, something like that, to about 27 students. Now, not everybody wins. As Brian said, there is an independent evaluator who's not affiliated with BTA. He's a dean at a local university here in Kansas City. We don't make any judgments at all. We don't evaluate them in any way. We just turn those applications over to him. This year, we're actually transitioning to where it's all going to be online. He'll still be the third-party evaluator, but all the scholarship applications and transcripts and all that can be submitted to BTA through the BTA website. Brian's scrolling through some of the pictures there. We asked the winners to send us a picture if they can of the presentation. We actually send a check to the sponsoring dealer, and then we send a letter to the winning student saying, "Hey, your mother, your father, your grandparents, where they work, has received a check because they're a member of BTA, and so work out a time to have for a check presentation." And then we share those in social media and on the website, et cetera. So it is a great member benefit that people don't normally think about. And if you think about it, though, it's not just for you as the senior management or the owner of the dealership. It's for anybody in your company. And very often those checks are and check presentations, we'll read the caption and it'll say, so and so is, a service tech or works in the warehouse or works in admin, and this is their student, receiving a BTA scholarship. So it's a way to kind of realize that the value of membership in the association extends beyond yourself as the owner or senior management in the dealership. So thank you, Brian.
Okay. And if you've got questions or whatnot, like I say, the application will be sent out towards the first of the year, and it needs to be back to BTA by May 1st of 2025. And if you have any questions, here's the contact, Elizabeth Marvel, her email and her phone number if you've got some questions about that as well. So give her a call. Let's see here. The business support services, a lot of that is just, like you say, just support services that are available to you. Ask the Analyst is a thing that you could call up Key Point Intelligence and ask them any question about the industry, and they'll give you their response back to it. And in here there's a couple of them that I'd like to at least point out. I mean, I did the legal, I did the scholarships. We've got a Dealer Helping Dealer network that is part of the BTA. And it was created out of the COVID era because we couldn't travel back then in 2020. So we created a Dealer Helping Dealer discussion groups. And what this does is this has like 30 or 40, probably 20 to 30 individual dealerships, non-competing dealerships, and they meet via Zoom either once a month or twice a month. Something like that. And there's 5 groups. There's 3 owners groups. I know I'm gonna get this wrong again. There's 3 owners groups, a sales manager, and a service group.
Close. There are actually 2 sales managers groups.
Okay.
So,
Right.
And let me just mention, because it's fresh in my mind, 2 of the groups have met every 2 weeks since May of 2020. So they're well over 100 calls that they've done so far. But like just today, I had a group of service managers on the call, and they were talking about just kind of thinking back. They talked a lot about the use of CEO Juice as it relates to the service operation, some of the reports they can pull out of ECI, eAutomate. They talked about Nexera. But the topics range every call, all over the place. And it's so simple. What I do is we send them out a registration link via Zoom. We do meet via Zoom like we are today. And we ask them the question, what topic or issues or questions would you like the group to address in today's call or tomorrow's call or whatever. And we take about an hour. We never, we always take the hour almost always, and other topics and questions come up, and it's really been wonderful to see how dealers, in fact, are helping one another, they've developed relationships, and like in these recent years, when there's a BTA event, an in-person event. I kind of gravitate sometimes to those that are in the Dealers Helping Dealers group to make sure we connect on site, and they're connecting with one another and having dinners together, and it's just been really cool to see how it's helping them in their dealerships. And as Brian said, while BTA itself membership is not geographically restricted, these groups we do restrict so that we don't have competitors in the calls together. If that's of interest to you, it's free. It's part of membership. Come and go as you can. I mean, Brian, like I was just thinking the last 3 days, I had between 40 and 50 people in 3 different calls. And there are some regulars who almost never miss a call, and then there's some that are kind of sporadic and they maybe come every 3rd call. That's totally fine. I understand they have businesses to run, and I always just say we're here when the timing makes sense for you, and I keep them on the invitation list. So, but all you need to do is email me at brent@bta.org. I'll send you the list of the companies that are represented in the groups, making sure that which one might be the best fit for you. And again, it's not just for owners and senior management, but we've got 2 of them for sales management, and we have 1 for service management. And it's really been a good experience, I know, for those people who are taking part of it. So, all right, Brian.
Okay. The other 2 aspects of the Dealer Helping Dealer section is the question and answer, the Q&A. And the best part, it started in COVID, so there's questions about COVID right there if you like. But then dealers, what they will do is send in a question to Brent, and Brent sends it out to the dealership or the membership as a whole. And so the question is asked, and then it's answered right here. So there's a lot of good resources or information that is available to you under these questions. So feel free to just kind of scroll through here, or let me get back up here. My mouse isn't working too good lately, but it's all right. So if you got a question, same, just if you got a question, you want to send it to Brent at bta.org with the subject line Dealer Helping Dealer, and then in the email, just ask your question, and Brent will send it out to the dealership or to the membership as a whole. The other leg is the repair network, and this is fairly new, and what we're trying to do is set this up where if you have anybody, a national account in your territory, and you need to have somebody install something, let's say you're down in Florida and you need somebody over in Texas to help you install. So this is kind of the repair network, and these are BTA dealers. So you can just come down here, click on the pin, and it tells you who it is and their contact information, the brands that they carry, and that type of thing. So it's real good, and it's real easy to sign up for. All you need to do is just come up here and you just click here to sign up for it, and it asks you a couple questions, and like where you're at and the brands carried, and get you put in there so that you could possibly help out somebody that is looking to install in your in your neck of the woods as well. So the Dealer Helping Dealer Repair Network, there's the discussion groups, and then there's the question and answer group as well. Let's see here. We've got the discounted programs that are available to you as well. So you just click on that. Car rental, online product evaluations, shipping and freight discounts. So if you got some shipping and freight that you need to move out, check out the UPS program there. We've got an insurance program that is kind of a broker. You would contact the broker and send them your information, and they would shop it and see if you can't save a dime or two on your insurance. So there's some good information there as well. Let's see here. And then we've got the BTA events. Next year, we're going to have 2 events, and one's going to be down in Orlando, Florida, March 6th through the 8th. And then we're going to have our national event outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico in June. And that'll be our national event. And these are great networking events that they're more intimate than the big manufacturer meetings, we'll have probably 100 to 150 attendees to these. So, and it just ranges across the country, and it's kind of what I would consider agnostic. So you're not just looking at a Ricoh machine. You've got other aspects and other manufacturers that are there. So you can kind of check that out as well. Let me see if this is this open. Okay, same deal. So the BTA events, and you can just register for those as well. We've got education programs that are available to you. Some are workshop, physical workshops, and others are e-workshops or webinars like we're on this one here. So check out the educational programs. And let's see, have I really missed anything? Here's where underneath membership, this is where the 101 call that we're doing now, that will be placed there after this call is put up. So if you want to revisit it or share that link with somebody else, you can go there and check that out. And we're coming up to the bottom of the hour. Does anybody have any questions?
So far, so good, I think.
Okay. Anything that you might be interested in that I didn't touch, that see if BTA has it or where it is on the website?
Let me mention a couple of things just to keep in mind, and Brian can kind of navigate there. We do webinars that we've been doing for a number of years. We've been doing Building My Business webinars since January of 2008. And we've got one coming up next week, in fact, with Kate Kingston. You know Kate Kingston in our industry, and she's got a great webinar coming up. And if Brian, scroll on the page, it tells you where you could register for that. But what's also nice is in the archives of the Building My Business webinars, we have recordings of virtually every webinar that we've done since 2008. Early on, we didn't realize that we had the functionality of recording, I think, in the first a few months. And so we were like, oh, we should be recording these. And so they're there as a resource to you. A lot of the topics you'll find, you can look by year and the name of the top topic of the webinar. And some are kind of timeless in nature because they have to do with sales or whatever. So and obviously those that are more recent may seem more timely to you, but just know that they're there. There's a video you could watch, and then we also get a copy of the speaker's PowerPoint, and we save that as a PDF, and that's there. We have a second webinar series that's kind of a companion piece to that's a little newer. It's called Diversifying My Business, and in that case, it's vendor members of the association talking about what they do, their product and services. We came to realize that dealers are open to be essentially kind of sold to, by attending these webinars and better understanding, maybe I think we had one on water systems and we had one on voice over IP, et cetera. And so it's just provide you some insight, something you might want to be thinking about. The other thing I wanted to mention that popped into my mind, and more information to come on this, but Brian mentioned the spring break event in Orlando, Florida. On the first day of those 3 days, I think it's March the 6th. Yeah, we are hosting something called eAutomate Elevate. And what that is, it's going to be kind of an opportunity for power users of eAutomate, but anybody really, to gather together. We've been working very hard on this. We've got a series of breakout sessions, all having to do with eAutomate and the use of eAutomate. And because, the reality is most dealerships use eAutomate. And what we did is we collected what we thought were some of the leading pain points, and then we sent out a survey to our members and asked them to rank those pain points. So we ended up with what we see as the topics that dealers most want to talk about as it relates to the use of eAutomate. So we're not quite where we're publicizing the details yet because we're finalizing the speaker lineup, et cetera. But it's going to be held just the day before spring break at the Grand Floridian in Orlando. So if you're an eAutomate user and you think someone in your dealership or yourself could value from attending that, would encourage you to give that some serious thought when you see our promotions get underway. The only other thing that I was going to mention was we have something called two things, Select Dealer Group and the Pro Dealer Group. These are peer groups within BTA. They're kind of like The Dealers Helping Dealers groups, maybe on steroids or whatever, in that not only are they meeting via Zoom on a fairly regular basis, but more importantly, they meet in person. And I happen to work with the Pro Dealer Group. Valerie Brosenia, who we introduced earlier, works with a Select Dealer Group. And so Brian's showing you there the Pro Dealer Group. Those are the member companies. It's like the Dealers Helping Dealers discussion groups. They are non-competing dealers who get together. We just had a meeting in Scottsdale just a few weeks back, and I attended that. And they gather, for several days, sharing best practices. They always have some topics they want to discuss, and then we have sponsors kind of talking about some of their products and services. But both of these groups work with strategic business associates. Select Dealer Group being the other one. And you can see their membership there. Strategic Business Associates does an annual financial survey. And so what you end up with, you complete the survey as a member of one of these two groups. Nobody sees your information except for Strategic Business Associates, but you end up with, here's me compared to everybody else in the group in aggregate. So you can see how you rank, rate or whatever, as far as the averages and the industry benchmarks as taught in Pro Finance workshop, among the others in your group. So if that's of interest, let us know. There is an additional membership dues fee for both of those groups beyond the BTA membership, but Pro Dealer Group now has about 31 or 2 members, and Select Dealer Group has about 38 or 39. Select Dealer Group's been around much longer. Pro Dealer Group's been around 12 years, so it's not like it's brand new, but Pro Dealer Group came out of people wanting to get in the Select Dealer Group, and they couldn't do it because of the geographic restrictions. So anyway, wanted to mention that. We have kind of gone a little bit beyond our time, but I hope this has been of value to you. And please reach out to us anytime. Our email addresses are so simple. It's just our first name at bta.org. So I'm Brent at bta.org, Brian at bta.org. Incidentally, I was glad that Brian, I failed to introduce Brooke at the very beginning, our employee, our remote employee in Hawaii. She is administrative admin, and she's helped us tremendously in these recent months since she's been on the team here. So reach out to us anytime. We are very aware of the fact that we work for you. This is your association. We take that very seriously, and we want to do whatever we can to help you. I mean, we're all about trying to strengthen the dealer channel and act as a resource to help dealers find ways to ultimately improve the bottom line in their dealerships. So with that, are there any questions or comments otherwise? If
I
not,
don't think so, but I do want to say it does look like the information you shared is be beneficial to us going forward. There is definitely some things in there that I didn't realize.
all right.
So I
Well,
think it'll help us.
Thank you, Tony, for confirming that what we thought to be the reason the need for these calls is because there's so many member benefits that you might be aware of some, but not all of them. And so, at your convenience, peruse the list. If you have a question about something, reach out to any of us, via email, and we'll be glad to talk to you. So, with that, we're going to let you all go and get on with your day. We thank you for your membership in the association, and we're here for you. So, if you think we can help in some way, please reach out to us at any time. So,
Thank you for the call.
all right.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good day, you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.